Sorry about that. The first one was a little short. But anyway, right here, you got bolts under here. I don't know if you can see them, but it's these right here. This one, these right here, and there's 4 nuts right here. But anyway, just worry about these nuts right here. This one, and there's another one. And it allows you to pull the column down. Now, this rod right in here, is the one that activates the starter. You turn the switch and it pushes that down, and it activates see all that stuff down in there that's connected to the column. Okay, and then there's a switch down there that once you get it down, you'll be able to see where the switch is. Alright. Now, I don't know if you can see. I'll try to get it up in here. It's just hard to see because all of this stuff is in the way. But anyway, what you're looking at is the bottom right here. There's bolts. There's all the way around it, except on the very, very top. There's none, so don't worry about it. Take all of these out. I can't remember what size they are offhand. But you take these all out so you can slide out of the firewall. Alright. Like I said, that's the whole column. And like I said, the reason I'm not showing you on the other one that I just tore down is because I tore it down before I made this video. So basically, take this off. This is for their horn. Just make sure you take it off easy because there's plastic tabs on there. Don't want to break those off. Then you just take all the screws out and pull the steering wheel off. Like I said, there's videos about this. This one's a tilt steering wheel, the tilt and all that. The one I'm going to show you is on an 80 that's non-tilt. But basically, all of this stuff is pretty much similar. What I did was on my other one, I took the steering wheel off. I took this housing completely off. When I did, the rod that comes up here has a pin that locks the steering wheel, and it also has a little rod that's got like splines on it. And when you turn the key, the gears that connect to the cylinder turn, and then that pushes that, and then pushes the rod down. When I took this off, all of that fell out. So that's what I'm saying is I'm going to show y'all how I put that all back together, because I could not find a video that showed that at all. All I did was show how to take this off, and you take the bolt out of here, you take a bracket off of the back, you take the bolt out of here, and all of this back here pulls off, and then you can replace the dimmer switch right here. You can replace that little switch that's in there. Like I said, there's a video out there for that. But like I said, this right here, don't worry about it because it's just one piece with the shifter on it. You're not going to mess it up. But make sure that behind here, if you have to take it off, there's a bushing on here. There's a bushing in here with a washer. Bushing back here that connects to that, and so on. But like I said, I tore mine down all the way to where it was just this rod, this, you know, the what do you call it, shaft, or whatever you want to call it, the housing that the shaft is in. But I took all of this piece off. I had a friend of mine tell me, oh, you don't have to do that, because what I did, all I needed to do on mine was replace the turn signal right in here. And you can return, because the turn signal, you unscrew it, and there's wires that run all the way down here, all the way down the column to the turn signal, to the switch and all that. All you gotta do is unplug it and basically loosen up some of the brackets. This one down here that has a four screws. When you get all this off, you have to take this bracket off to be able to pull. There's a cable, you can't see it because this is still too connected, but anyway, there's a cable up in there that's got all the wires, and you pull it out through the column. But you got to take this bracket right here, you got to take that bracket off. So I know this is kind of lengthy, but you know, everybody's like, oh well, I already know this. Well, this is for some people that don't know, you know, that just, okay, I'm gonna fix my old truck, and you know, like me, it's like, okay, what do you do? Because the first time I did this, it's like, okay, what do I do? You know, I didn't have a clue. And manuals only tell you so much, unless you can afford the shop manuals, which is hard to come by. So, like I said, this don't have a dash in because I took the dash out and put it in my Blazer that I'm working on now. So that's why you can see this bracket, and these, that's what holds the whole steering wheel up. Okay, let's close this off. Like I said, this Suburban is junk. It's it's pretty bad. It's I don't know if I can lift it with one hand or not because the hood's so bad on it. But anyway, up in here, see those bolts on that clamp? You gotta take those nuts loose. What I did was I took one of them loose and then loosened the other one on the Blazer. And then you can drop that down, and it'll drop out of the way enough to actually get to the bolts for the switch, for the turn signal switch and all that down there. And you can also, if you want to pull that whole housing that has a cylinder and stuff in it off for some reason, that allows you to take the bolts off of that switch that runs the starter. It's called the starter switch. You can take those bolts off. When you take the starter switch off, you'll notice that rod has a L shape like this. It's curved like that and just goes up. And when basically what it is, it's a slide like this. And when you when you go to crank it, that cylinder, that rod pushes this way, which activates, which turns your electrical system on. It and then it engages the starter and stuff and let you run it. So you take the switch off, and the rod will come out. The rod will just drop off once you take the switch completely off of the column down there. And then you can pull that housing out of the. Let me go back over here. Like I said, this thing's shot. All right. Anyway, like I said, here's this rod right here. This right here is the rod that pushes down. Sorry, this one here does the bright lights, the dimmer switch, and that switch right there, that's the dimmer switch. The one behind it, there's one behind it way back there. That's actually what the switch is for this bar right here. Sorry, let me go out. This is this bar right here. Like I said, you take those bolts loose, take the switch off, the starter switch. This rod will come out through here if you have to take this whole hub assembly or whatever y'all want to call it. I call it a hub assembly for the cylinder and turn signal But anyway, you can take, and it just pulls right off. After you take, you have to take all the, you have to take like 4 bolts off. 4 little bolts, 4, they're, I don't know, that long or so. But they're all in here. You take all those out. You don't have to take the bolt for the cylinder out. You know, you don't have to take the cylinder out. That's what I did wrong. I took the cylinder out. When I did, and I removed this whole thing, those gears fell out. So if I would have left this in, it probably wouldn't have fought, those gears in here wouldn't have fallen out. So like I said, don't take your cylinder out, leave it in. Take those 4 bolts out that are down in here. Take the 4 bolts out. Then you can take this whole column off, or housing. And like I said, feed that rod that's right here. Feed that rod up through all of this. That way you can take this whole, you know, everything off, basically. You don't have to take this piece off because there's nothing there. Now, if you have to replace the dimmer switch, like I said before, if you have to replace that dimmer switch lives back here. So, if the dimmer switch is messed up, you're going to have to pull this off. That's all there is to it. Because there's a switch in there. The rod is down here. This is the rod. It runs all the way up here, bypasses this, because this is for the tilt, goes underneath here, and there's a switch up in here that it pushes against. And then when you know, do this, which this one is not working, but when you pull it, you know, like this to click it and click it, like I said, this one ain't working. You can hear that it's broke, so it'd be kind of pointless to take this whole column out and put it in my Blazer. That's what I was going to do, but that's the reason why I quit, because, you know, it don't work either. So I have to take it all apart anyway, so what's the point? But anyway, that switch is in there that pulls down, and like I said, I don't even think, yeah, it's not even moving the bar. So if that bar is not moving when you do this, that means that either this switch in here is screwed up, that it's not pushing it down, because the handle, as far as I can understand, the handle screws in, and it screws into I don't know, plastic piece that rotates or pushes this way, that the bar goes in. And if that plastic piece is all messed up in there, it won't push that back in. And that's what's happening now, is when I go there, it won't go click or anything. It just, that's it. It won't do nothing. Like I said, so I know this is a little lengthy. It's 13 minutes already. But believe me, I spent better 2 days not tearing it down, because like I said, I took the cylinder out and then all these pieces fell out. I spent a better of 2 days messing with this thing, trying to get those pieces back in. So watch all these videos, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another video that shows you how to replace that, how to put those gears back in there, if you do the same mistake I did by doing it. Now, the deal is that the guy that shows this, there's a video, and he shows it that he replaced the dimmer switch in here. There's a bar that you take off, a bracket, and when you take that bracket off, you can still, if you're not careful, these will fall out. So I'll show you that on the one that I already got tore apart. But be warned, or just pay attention that, or I just want to let you know that the other one is not like this. It doesn't have, it's just round. It don't have this piece. All it's got is is a turn signal, and that's it. You know, it's up and down turn signal. You don't have all of this fancy crap because it's only an 81 Blazer. So, and this is probably an 86, maybe 85, 86, somewhere in there. But like I said, everything's pretty much the same. So anyway, let me get to that other video, and hopefully this helps you, because I know that there's some videos out there that don't show you all the stuff to take off. Like I said, you take this off to access this, you have to take these off, you have to take the bolts down there off, have to loosen that bracket out on the firewall, and once you do that, this whole column should come down to about right here, you know, low enough to get those bolts out back there for the switches and everything else, and for these rods if you need to replace all that. Okay, so stay tuned, watch the other portion of the videos, and hopefully some of this will help you.